Morning, Tara.
Good morning, Matt.
And I'm not going to lie, we are really excited because we are on location, remote today from Frankenmuth at the Bavarian Blast here at the Bavarian Inn. And we're going to spend the next 2.5 hours here with you guys today, really looking and talking about this amazing addition to Frankenmuth and the Great Lakes Bay region. And I'm very happy to have my good friend, and I always have to pull this up, Martha, because I love it in your email line, the Vice President and fourth generation owner here, Martha Zender-Kaczynski. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning.
So I have to ask about the email line first, because that line I love. The fourth generation owner.
Yes.
Remind everyone, who were generations 1, 2, and 3 before you?
So we all started at Zen Restaurant, and then my grandfather's family, so my grandfather was the second generation, and then my grandmother and grandfather, they started the Bavarian Inn restaurant in 1950, and then the third generation is my mother's generation, and so we now have 7 of us in active family management that is partaking with our Bavarian and Zender family, and there are 4 of us in the fourth generation that are doing all the day-to-day hands-on business for the Bavarian Inn restaurant, the Bavarian Inn Lodge, with our great new water park that I know we'll be talking about later, River Place Shops, some different stores on Main Street, and some different entities. So the 4 of us in the fourth generation are here day in, day out to make sure everyone has a great time in Frankenmuth.
So I'm being dead serious. This isn't meant to be jokey, although it may come across that way. Your son George is how old?
5.
5. And in that next generation, generation 5, does he have any cousins that are a little bit older?
He does. So the oldest cousin, actually my cousin's oldest daughter, she just graduated from high school this year, Sophia Grassi. And so, with all of them, just like with us in the fourth generation, if the fifth generation wants to be involved, great. If they don't, there's no pressure. It's totally up to them, just like for any job. But we do have a pathway if the next generation wants to be involved. But the fifth generation is absolutely, on holidays and weekends, they're helping. Now, my son George, who's 5, is a little too young to be clearing plates and things. But my brother's children, who are 9, 11, and 13, holidays, they're all here. They're clearing. Jacob, who's 13, he'll actually be 14 this Sunday, is great at being a host and seating people. And so that fifth generation is involved.
Tara, do you wish that you had the ability to just put your kids to work, in the family operation, and when they weren't saying or behaving or doing things that you wanted to hear, you're like, okay, you're now bussing tables? I mean, that's got to be a great advantage to have.
Absolutely. And honestly, I think George would look really, really cute in some sort of mascot costume. Like, you should probably get him rolling on that.
So I expect that George is baking chicken today. That's just the vision I'm going to have, whether you say it or not. But I love the story of the generations, because when you study family businesses, historically it's really difficult to keep them going from one generation to the next. And it takes a big commitment. I think you guys have definitely shown that through the years. And what I love that you clearly don't force the next generation, but I think the part that really sticks out is that, like you want to be part of this.
Absolutely.
You have a passion for it. You love it. It's normal to see you dressed in your traditional Bavarian attire, no matter where you are in the region. I think that speaks volumes for why you guys have been successful for so long.
So it's everyone's choice. I lived in Chicago for 9 years, and just God spoke, I listened. It was the right time and place for me to come back home, and I don't regret coming back to the family business by any means.
So we're on kind of a tighter schedule today, because we can talk about the history for literally hours. We are here at Bavarian Blast. So for people that are out there that are starting to hear about this, and they've heard Bavarian Blast but may not know the details yet, simply put, what is Bavarian Blast?
Fun. That's the one-word answer for it. So within the Bavarian Inn Lodge, this is actually our 7th addition to the hotel. So Bavarian Blast, with the completion of the water and non-water fun, we now have over 170,000 square feet of fun for families and everyone to be able to enjoy. So with that is over 3 football fields. of family fun, all inside, because you never know with Michigan weather what that's going to be. The water park portion of the addition. So we have 16 additional slides. We have a huge wave pool.
Slow down. 16, as in 1-6.
Correct.
That is a lot of new slides.
Yes. Yep. So those, we have a huge wave pool. We have a lazy river that we say is not so lazy. It's got a pretty good current to it. We have Michigan's very first swim up bar. So we're very proud to be able to have that. It has indoor, outdoor. It has a spa or a hot tub, light temperature. And then we have an activity pool, special area just for children, like toddlers area. And there's something for everyone. Indoor, outdoor spa as well for all ages to be able to enjoy. And it's warming up now, so we've been able to open up our outdoor pool as well.
So I walked in there this morning, and I had a chance with Tara earlier in the fall to tour when it was still under construction. And to see the completed version, it's so magnificent in there. You walk in, and it's you can almost hear it from the heavens, just all the windows, the natural light that comes in, how vast it is. What I love is there seems to be something different for everyone, all ages. If you want to go on a big slide that's a little bit exciting and you're, in your teens and 20s, you have it. If you're, Tara, and you want to just go over to that swim up bar and get a cocktail and relax for the day and not be bothered, you have it. If it were football season and a Saturday, Matt Flon would probably be in one of those cabanas with a big screen TV and probably wouldn't move and would just be ordering beer and food and chicken wings and let kids do whatever they want while I'm going to sit back and enjoy the game.
We have a lot of great cabanas. So most water parks have between 4 to 6 maybe. We have actually 21 cabanas all inside. So yeah, they all include, like you mentioned, the big screen TV, a safe, a refrigerator, seating. You can get 12 people in there, although we know not everyone stays at the cabana. It's usually just the drop-off point, and then everyone's in the water, which is what we want. But then we have a dedicated cabana server. We also have different reserved seating areas as well if you don't want the full cabana. And we have 2 levels of our water park. So we have cabanas on the second floor, the mezzanine level, so if you want it to be a little bit quieter, or if you want to be right on the main level, again, where all the action and excitement is, you can do that too. To your point earlier, we have something for everyone. So all ages, if someone's more quieter, whatever it may be, skill level, we had got you covered.
So let me ask this. It's very visible. There's small slides, play areas with basketball hoops. I'm probably going to get the name wrong, but I believe it's a little Victoria area of ropes, and it looks like lily pads that you jump across.
Lily pad walk.
Right? Really cool things for kids. So you're catering to all ages. What if you're grandma? And grandma's coming out with the kids, and she's like, you know what, I'm going to take them for a couple days. Is it one of these atmospheres where literally you're good from 2 years old all the way up to those retirement ages where you can just relax in there?
Absolutely. And if you just want to go in the lazy river, you've got the inner tubes, you just kind of float around. You just want to go in the wave pool, you don't have to go in when it's not
Why can't
wavy.
Grandma go on the water slide?
Grandma can absolutely go down the water slide.
I still enjoy the water slides.
I think it's because I'm 50, so I picture Grandma being in her 80s. But, we live in a
we have
different world.
80-year-olds. We have 90-year-olds going down our slides.
You know what? We should all be so lucky. I hope that I'm 90 years old going down water slides. That's what I want to hear.
Absolutely.
I just still think of grandparents as, my mom. Just getting kind of into the park will be an adventure, just to get in the door. So I just want to make sure that we have a little something for everyone. We're going to take a quick break, Martha, but when we come back, I want to hear a little bit more about how folks can visit, how they include stays. We want to hear about the food. We want to hear about the beverage. There is so much more to learn here at Bavarian Blast in Frankenmuth.
Summer is on its way.
We wanted to have a German-themed water park, but also, to be new and modern, but just continue with our German heritage. Obviously, we are in Frankenmuth, Michigan's Little Bavaria. So the cuckoo clock and the bird that is on there, his name is Puddles. He's one of our mascots. Oh, of course.
Of course he does.
Oh, George could be Puddles.
So yeah, we have Puddles, which is a red cardinal, baby cardinal, and we have our Puddles plots. So within the water park area, that's more of the toddler for smaller children to be able to enjoy. We have other mascots. Bertina is our butterfly, or in Schmetterling in German. We have Schnitz and Fritz, our two Dachshunds dogs. We also have a water slide named Schnitz and Fritz. So we have a plethora of mascots besides just Willie and Greta, which we've had for a number of years. And they're all incorporated. We have plush for them. They're on T-shirts. We've got them within the water park. So we wanted to be able to incorporate old world Germany and new modern fun all together.
I love it. And with the Cardinal, I'm not going to lie, you're going to get me a tiny bit sentimental, but I now feel like your mom and your grandma are with us here.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of that premise of a Cardinal, and when you see a Cardinal,
Good
it's supposed
point.
to be a
I was
loved
going to
one
go with the SVSU
checking.
tie-in.
You know, there
Yeah.
is an SVSU
As soon
tie-in.
as she said baby cardinal, I was like, oh, ugh.
They go.
It's a lot. You get Saginaw, a wonderful Saginaw institution, as well as Cardinals looking out for us. It's everything.
Yeah, you get a lot of wins. So we've chatted a bit about the water park, but there are a lot of non-water features to your kind of entertainment and play area as well. Can you talk about some of the other features aside from this massive, gorgeous water park?
So all of the water facilities also that we've had previously are still there. All of the great games that we've had are all still there. So we still have the 18-hole indoor miniature golf course. We now have over 180 different arcade games that are available. We have our three climbing walls, which we can kind of see, right here while we're talking, with different levels. We have a 3-story ropes course. So with that, the tallest portion of that is 45 feet in the air. So you got 3 levels and obviously a level below. So with a zip line that goes around, different walking planks. It's, again, for all skill levels. If you're just beginning or if you're an expert climber, have something for everyone. We have mini bowling lanes. Again, going back to something that multiple generations can all do together, like the putt-putt, the mini bowling, even a lot of our arcade games that we have. We have a wonderful Build-A-Bear that we opened up this last July. So all of these different attractions is all part of our Bavarian Blast water park.
And I'll tell you, hold on, the parents, just a tip for you if you're coming here. Once your kids are done at the arcade, make sure you have a room, because you don't have to stand there and wait for them to pick out their prizes like you do at Chuck E. Cheese or anywhere else. You can just go back and be like, see you whenever you finally figure out how many Tootsie Rolls you want. It's great.
Yes, we've got a brand. It's supposed to be had a redemption counter. Now it's a full-on redemption store. So when you play all the games and you get your tickets for different items, and also a new addition, we have an ice cream store. It's called Emily's Ice, and it has Guernsey ice cream, another Michigan family-owned business in the 3rd generation on the west side of the state. We have 24 flavors of Guernsey ice cream. They are fantastic.
So we are a local station. So there are 2 things that I would say. So number 1, folks can come and can they do the daily pass if they want to come? How does the daily pass work?
So,
what are the hours and prices?
So right
ballpark?
online, so you can go online, and the prices change, obviously, depending on how busy we are. So like during the week is going to be less than on the weekend. You can do an AM half-day pass, a PM half-day pass, or a full-day pass. It can be anywhere, from like $50 to $90, like on those really busy days, spring break weekends, things of that nature for a full-day pass. And then with that, you have a water park pass that also includes all of our other pools that's inside. So if for whatever reason you don't want to go down one of our other 16 slides, you want to go down one of our previous 2 slides, or go in the water for a pool that we've had, you can do that as well with your day pass.
So then the other part, and I think this is important, and Tara Jaliga, a Bay County resident, she's guilty of this maybe more than anyone I know. She loves a good staycation right here in the Great Lakes Bay region. You're a regular in Frankenmuth. How often are you here overnight in Frankenmuth with your family?
Oh, overnight? I don't think we stay like that often. Maybe once or twice a year.
So Martha's going to need you to boost that up to 3 to 4 times a year.
Because it's so close, we can just drive here and take part in the activities, and especially when there's fun weekends. January Winterfest and Dog Bowl and all of the other balloons and things of that nature that we like to come take part in.
We have a lot that just come and play for the day, which is great. And if you don't want to go in the water and you want to come and play for the day and do laser tag, oh my goodness, yes, we have laser tag as well for 20 guests. So there's so much that people can do, but besides the fact that all the locals can come and enjoy, we're very, very proud of the fact that we use so many local businesses and Michigan-made businesses that are right here, even in the Great Lakes Bay region. But so, like for the ropes course and climbing walls, that was through RCI, and Jim Liggett was fantastic to work with. They're right here. They're the biggest in the entire world, right here in Michigan. And then we also have Mike Awald with the Laser Blast company that did our laser tag, which is so much fun. It again has a German theme. You'll see Hofbrau barrels in there, and dragons and castles, and like our Frankenmuth fountain. So again, incorporating that German feel. They were wonderful with all of their great stuff. And then with the water park portion, I'm so proud that like over 95% of all of the business from people working as well as companies were all Michigan based that we have. Now, some of them we had to go outside of Michigan, like for example, Whitewater, they're based in Canada. They're the only place in North and South America that make these slides. You know, and then like for the roofing system that you were mentioning, you know, so some places we had to go outside of Michigan because they aren't made anywhere else, but over 95% of all of the work for this entire $90 million addition that we had was all Michigan based. And so we're very, very proud of that, because whenever we can do something to support the economy, our Michigan economy, obviously we always try to do that.
I love it. And next segment, we're actually going to hear from Chip and Luke Hendrick with Hendrick Construction about their long history of working with your family and on the projects
all 7
here
phases.
And the latest phase. But I'm going to go back to the staycation premise. So, folks, years ago, my family was trying to figure out a family reunion destination. And I don't know how your families are, but mine sometimes struggle to get to an agreement. And everything was on the table. Suddenly I was going to the Smoky Mountains. I was heading to Mackinac, and then found out someone was allergic to horses and to fudge, and like it was chaos. We kept fighting, and I finally said, what are we doing? Why don't we just go to Frankenmuth? And so we did for the weekend, and it was great. The drive was short. The accommodations were lovely. There was so much fun things to do. So what I'm thinking, for those of you that are listening, I think the staycation is brilliant on this one for folks here in the Great Lakes Bay region. I don't care whether you live in downtown Saginaw, Bay City, way up in Pinconning, over in Midland and Mount Pleasant, being able to come over to Bavarian Inn, for most of us that are listening, it's going to be a 15-minute drive to maybe an hour, and you can come here and have an amazing weekend at a world-class facility, one of the newest facilities you're going to find anywhere in the world. And outside now of Wisconsin Dells, probably the destination to come for water parks between you and the family across the street, the Zenders and Zenders, their water park.
Zender Splash Village, yeah, between Zender Splash Village and now Bavarian Blast. You know, Bavarian Blast is the largest indoor water park in Michigan for the entire state. So we are now like Michigan's capital for water park family fun right here in Frankenmuth.
So you heard it, folks. You're coming. It's staycation time, or come for the day. And Martha, remind them again of the website if they want to look everything up and plan their trip.
So it's BavarianInn.com. And everything is there for if you want to have a dining reservation, for different events that we have, the calendar. There's always something going on in Frankenmuth, for day passes, for the water park information. Everything is in one easy spot, BavarianInn.com.
I
And you
love
can
it.
sign up for the newsletter and other information.
Yeah,
right
our
through
Perks
that
Loyalty
website.
Club, yeah. Get more discounts, all kinds of great things. Find out about things before others do with our Perks Loyalty program.
Well, thank you for joining us. We love what we're doing, love the expansion of the Great Lakes Bay region, and good luck.
Thank you.
The Michigan Lottery has 4 new...
We've done 7 different phases of construction here at the Bavarian Inn, with Bavarian Blast being the 7th. How many of those stages has Hendrick been a part of?
We've done all 7 stages. I was not part of phase 1 or phase 2 at all. I had a cousin that took care of that, and I had my own thing I was doing back then. But I took over this account towards the end of phase 3 and got to deal with Judy Keller, and I will admit that when I first started, I was scared to death.
So that is fair. I remember the first meeting I had with Judy here at the lodge portion. She was funny. She just started calling me by my last name. I think there's so many Matts in the world. So she'd go, Falon, we're going to have lunch. I need to figure out where you came from and why you're suddenly here doing things. And I kind of walked in the same way. I'm like, oh, dear Lord, she's a really intimidating woman. And I came out, and that dropped immediately after one lunch meeting with her. And what I love about the entire family, they are larger than life, and they embrace this Bavarian culture. So I have to ask both of you guys, how many water parks to this level? I mean, clearly you had done pools and maybe a slide or two in the previous builds, but when they said, hey, we're going to build now the biggest water park in the state of Michigan, what kind of experience did you guys have in this before?
Other than, like you mentioned, we did a couple of the, well, it was phase 5 where we did added some slides here, but other than that, none.
None. So, Luke, what do you say to your dad when he goes, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this on, and you know what? You're going to have a huge role on this one. Did you look at him and say, are you sure on this one, or are we sure we're going to take this on? Was it daunting to take on a project like this when it's your first time doing something to this magnitude?
I mean, it was exciting. I mean, you're going to be able to do something that's going to be historic in the state. It's an exciting opportunity, and we've been doing this for a long time. We've got a great relationship with Michael and Martha, and obviously Judy. And so it was just a really exciting opportunity for us, and we were excited about what was going to come.
So let's say, what was the date the first shovel went in the ground here on Phase 7 and the Bavarian Blast?
I'm going to guess. I should have looked this one up because I kind of tried to anticipate something I might be asked, and that was one I said, I bet I'll get asked that. And
You're on a show with me. Don't anticipate anything. We can talk about anything, Chip. Be careful.
You're going to look it up, Luke? It was 2022 it would have been.
2022, okay.
Yep.
And the project so then takes roughly 2 to 3 years to do this entire project?
December 13th, 2022.
Okay, so the very end of 22. So you're talking 23, 24. I know there was some, and I love optimism. I know there's some optimism they might be able to get open by the end of 24. But a project this big with this much water and this many moving pieces, it opened here in the spring of 25. So you have had folks here. What I love about this, guys, when you're doing this project, this is one of the projects Hendrick Construction is working on. So while you're doing this, you're also, I don't know, simultaneously building a new high school in downtown Saginaw?
New high school downtown Saginaw, new Hanley Elementary School, remodeling Saginaw High and Arthur Hill. Yeah, we were fortunate to get awarded the Saginaw Public Schools bond issue that was $100 million, and we actually had 2 other schools that passed at that same exact time, Durand Schools, Swan Valley Schools. But then everybody in the world was lucky COVID hit, prices went out of sight, so those projects actually were all headed to be over budget by 35 to 40%, all about that same percentage. So they had a thing, ESSER funds, that helped to supplement some of that. So the $100 million Saginaw school project, city school project, really we were managing about $150 million for them.
Yeah, as a fellow school board president, I don't know how we survived without ESSER funds, but I have to tell you, we've all hit a very harsh reality now that there are no longer ESSER funds, and it's back to business as normal. It's created a change. I'll tell you what, gentlemen, we're going to take another break. When we come back, I want to hear about kind of the ins and outs of the construction of Bavarian Blast and how those couple years treated you guys.
Reliable.
Engineers and people that go down the slides first, making sure everything's correct with the amount of water that's in the slides. They can amp up certain areas to help slow the riders down to make sure certain sections are done properly. So something I never really thought about prior to doing this. So it was pretty cool to watch them kind of go through that, make different adjustments to make sure that riders are coming down at the appropriate speeds and coming out right at the end with a big smile on their face. And those engineers, they seem to have a little more fun than be your typical engineer, so that would be a fun job to have.
So history is really told by those who write it, and the history that I'm going with is that Chip was down that first big slide yelling "Yee-haw" on his way down, and that's a story I'm going to go with because it's just a better story, gentlemen. I think we got to work on this.
If they would have got me a few beers, maybe I would have done it.
Okay, totally fair. So I have to ask, when you're doing a project like this, what did you guys find to be some of the biggest challenges?
maybe I'm going to go back 25 years because this what we're in right now started at least 25 years ago. The Zender family, they had been studied, knew they wanted to do this. They've been to water parks all over the world to get ready for this. I remember, and it was about 25 years ago, I went on a trip with Judy. We had a small group, but we went to Pennsylvania and New York to visit a couple of water parks there, just to learn. Judy was always good. Michael's the same. They like to have the vision of what they're going to do before they'll start that. But this water park actually was first designed back in 2007.
Wow.
It was designed by a totally different architect. It was smaller, but it didn't happen because that's when the market crashed, and that caused it just to get scratched. The design was pretty much completed, ready to put out for bids, but they got shelved. It then got bid or designed by a different architect it was 2017 or 2018. And it wasn't as large as the one today, but it was this. There was going to be a first phase and a second phase, adding about another third of the square footage, and got designed. It was bid out, ready to write contracts, award contracts. COVID hit. Canceled, scratched, okay? So then we go to the 2021. Here we go, let's start again. We did use that same architect. They designed it, but now rather than have two phases of it, they just the big pic, the whole thing. They did that, and about the time we had it out for bids, and that's about that same time as when Russia invaded Ukraine, and I thought, oh God, we're going to go. It's World War III. We're going to cancel. It's all about this water park, all the crisis that we're having in the United States. It's all because of this. But anyway, World War III didn't happen, and. We got
well, at
this
least
rolling.
not yet. Let's all knock on something.
Yeah.
You never know what we're going to read on a daily basis. Yeah, it's interesting to hear that. So, Luke, question for you. In a lot of regular construction, some things you just know really well, and it's easy to work with, right? You know how to work with drywall. You know how to work with concrete. You know how to work with windows and roofing. Man, water is a whole different animal. And keeping water in and dealing with all the various things, how complicated with a project this big is it to deal with the water piece, and how important was, and this is one of the things I love about this region, we have incredibly talented companies and subcontractors, and I know you worked with, whether it's the folks out of Reamer and Local 85 and your plumbers and different folks. How difficult was it to work with the water, and how thankful are you that we have that level of talent here in the region?
Yeah, I mean, that you spoke on it right there. The level of talent that we have in this region with contractors is unmatched by any, and this project would not have come to fruition without all those having a local interest in this project as well, right? You get some out-of-town contractors, they might not care as much. They'll get it done when they get it done. But we had a lot of local contractors that took pride in their work, and that's just kind of who they are in this area. And when you talk about water, I mean, that's something that was unique to me as well. You got humidity, you got dripping, you got to make sure your air temperatures, humidity, everything's correct. It was a very unique challenge to get this to where it is today.
But you got to do some fun things, right? You guys got to build the first ever swim-up bar in the state of Michigan. I mean, the law was changed, I think during construction, right?
Yep.
To allow for swim-up bars in the state of Michigan.
Absolutely.
How cool is it when you get to work on something new like that that's never even existed here in the state?
It's exciting to do something, especially when it's something new like that or something that we haven't done. We look forward to that. We just try to align. There were a lot of some specialty contractors. There are a couple of major contractors in the United States that do water slides. So it's a matter of picking which one or the other. And there are pool contractors that specialize in just water parks. So you align yourself with those people. The story, though, that I like to tell the most when I bring somebody new out here is before we walk in, we'll look out into the parking lot, and I said some of the brand new, in the first part that opened here, Fun Center space, is actually underneath the parking lot. So that was kind of an exciting thing to do, too. People are like, what do you mean it's under the parking lot? I said, yeah, buses pull up, and they're over some of the new Fun Center space. But it's really, there are specialty contractors you just need to, and we knew who they were from the work over the years, that the planning for this to actually happen. So we identified and knew who those people were, and had met with them. The main pool contractor, we had met with them for years before.
Yeah, so I got to tell you, I think my favorite part again is the fact that you've been able to do all 7 phases between the Hendrick family and the Zender Keller family. What you've built is nothing short of magnificent. I'm just going to leave it with this, folks. As I mentioned, it's how history tells a story. Although Chip was not the first one going down that slide yelling yeehaw, I guarantee you he was the first one in that swim-up bar tipping back a bottle and making sure that the bar worked correctly. Hey, great having you guys on today. Thanks for all you do, and look forward to seeing you guys both soon.
Thanks Matt. It was fun. Thank you.
Hello, this is Dan.